Hi everyone. Hi Memo. Hi Naji. Hi Mahide. Hello everyone. Hello Isa. Today we're going to have an amazing live, guys. It's about addiction. Not that any of us has addiction or have experienced it, but I'm just going to talk about it anyway. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Because addiction is something, hi Zorajan. Addiction is a major source of experience that we have all experienced it or still experiencing. But today I'm going to get into a deeper part of it. Hi Marla June, good to have you all here. By the way, guys, I'm also going live on Facebook, Sudi_Burnett. Yes, hi Treasure, hello. Oh, treasure yourself, Susan. How did you guys all join together? I didn't even know that was possible. Yes, yes, yes. Hi Zore. Hi Manas John. Good to have you here. I love Sunday. Oh my God, look who is here. Long time no see, honey. Hi Don. Good to see you on Facebook. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do this live a little different than usual. I'm going to start by doing some sort of Kundalini breathing exercise because I want all of us to get really centered. Hi, Negara. Yeah, so I learned this from a yoga teacher. She's expert in Kundalini many years ago, and she works as a addiction center. Hi Christina. Yeah, so I thought, how about if we start our live today by doing or using some breathing technique to get us more centered. Okay, so this is how she explained it, guys. You're gonna have to use your fingers. Imagine a cat or with his paws, and imagine like when you get really frustrated and you put a lot of intensity into your finger, like you really want to scratch. Okay, and we do a inhale. When we do an inhale, our belly is supposed to stick out. And then we bring both hands up and cross them. As we do exhale, we bring the hands down and we pull the belly in. And each time as we do the inhale and exhale, we are cross fingering our hand. Are we all ready? Let's sit back and inhale out and exhale. Inhale, belly out and exhale. Get all of your aggression. So we're going and remember to cross, cross, cross each time. And the faster we're going to speed it up and get as quick and fast as we can. Mind the belly, guys. You want to really extend the belly and pull it in. Extend and pull it in. And what she does next, which is really funny, it reminds me of this comedy thing. Then she stuck her tongue out. How does that feel, guys? It sort of gets your energy moving, right? And it kind of gets us out of stagnation energy and moves us into you always follow me on Instagram? Okay, fabulous. But today you're on Facebook. Okay. All right, guys. So whenever you get really upset and frustrated, doing some sort of, you can try this or you can try anything else, some sort of breathing exercises to let your mind realizes that there is other activities is happening, so it can slow down the thinking machine, pays attention to your breathing, and it says, oh, something else is going on there. Let's join the party and see what's happening there, right? The next exercise that we're going to do, because I'm seeing that other people are joining us, would be, we're going to use 2 different nostrils. So with your thumb, you're going to hold your right nostril, and with your left, you're taking a deep inhale, and you're switching the other nostril and you're doing the exhale. So is and we're going to keep on slowing down our breath. Make it longer and slower. Inhale and exhale. This detoxes our brain, and these exercises helps us to use both sides of our brain, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. So we kind of balancing out our right and left brain. Okay, so let's get into our today topic, which is addiction. Okay. I'm going to promise you guys that I will continue doing a few lives on addictions, and we're going to cover all different sources of addiction. We're going to cover addiction to smoking, cigarette smoking, any other psychedelic substances, marijuana, anything, any other source of that category. We're going to work on our emotional addictions. We are going to work on self-sabotage addictions. We're going to work on relationship addictions. Okay, we're going to work on all sorts of different addictions. But today, I'm going to take us into a deeper place, and then we're going to get into those other parts. Okay? Are you guys ready to get deep with me today? So what I'm talking about today, guys, a lot of it is Buddhism teaching. And you probably have heard all these topics from another gurus, from different spiritual gurus, or so on and so on. So I'm not actually giving you anything new today. It's nothing that you already don't know. What I'm doing today is just giving you a reminder. It's a reminder of what you already know. Okay? So basically, the first part, I think I sent a voice yesterday. I'm not sure if Sahar already put it on or not. But I said, let's start by asking the question, who are you? Who are you? And we just sit in this question. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And there is a saying, I don't remember who I heard this from. Was it Ramdas or someone else? That he said, when you sit and ask this question, which everyone believes is the most important question that we ever ask ourselves, different meaning will arise, right? So we start thinking, it comes up that I am my name. It comes up that I am so and so. It comes up all the identities that our ego mind has attached to us as a personality, right? So when we keep asking these questions, whatever arises, we're going to have to let it go. We have to separate or detach ourselves from that. And then when we get to the point that when I ask, who am I? Nothing else is coming up, then that's the true me. That's who I really am. And that's the place of true liberation. I am free of all the forms and all the structures of ego creation. All of that will kind of, the structures will kind of fall off, and then another one will fall off, and then another one will fall off, and then I reach a point that I am formless. There is nothing left that I'm attached to. Okay? And you probably have heard from different gurus again many times, and I probably have talked about this a lot too, also in my book Awakening Not Allowed, that we say, be still, and awaken to the realization of who you are. So I sent you another voice yesterday, and I said, this is all great and dandy. And I also talked about we all constantly hear, I talked about it, I still will talk about it, you hear it here and there, that our true essence is love and light. And that has been said so often that it became a cliche. Now, the question that I have today is, when you keep saying, and when you hear it from someone else, that your true essence is love and light, be still and recognize and awaken to who you truly are. What does that really mean to you? Because I think the toughest thing for us as human beings is to be still. That's the part that we haven't achieved, or we're trying to achieve that part, right? So it's very easy for the gurus to say, or the ascended master, to be still. But I really struggled with this stillness for years. I mean, when many years ago, when I was only ego mind driven, and I wasn't even conscious that I am not in a driver's seat, but the ego mind is the driver and is driving me, I couldn't be still. And I even told you guys, I don't know, I talked about this in one of my live, maybe joint live, maybe it was with Dylan. I don't remember who I was talking to about. And I said many years ago, a very close friend of mine, he was a yoga teacher. And he kept bugging me to go to his yoga classes. And I really forced myself to go there. I think 2 or 3 times. But that even irritated me more while I was in that yoga place. Because I could see all of these other people who were probably there for a long time, or they have practiced the yoga exercise for years. They were doing it so perfectly, and they were holding on to each pose for so long, while when I would try to do it, my feet was shaking, my whole body was shaking, my mind and ego was speeding up. What the hell is this? And you could be running, you could be active. This is such a boring thing. And I couldn't do it, right? So that's what I'm bringing to your attention right now. It's very nice and dandy to hear all this stuff. Your true essence is love and light. You are the whole universe. The whole universe is within you. But are you there? Do you experience that day by day? When you get into that argument, when you get triggered, where you're anchored, do you sit still at that moment and hold back and think, I am the true essence of love and light. I am God kind. God resides within me. The whole universe resides within me. Is that what you do? If you do, then you're a master. Give me a yes and no, guys. I want to hear all of you. Is that the state that you're in all day? Yes or no? And don't lie to yourself, guys. Don't lie to yourself. Because very hardly from the time that we wake up, we are conscious, and whatever is happening out there and the email that we get, when we see people are not transparent, when we see that people are lying to our face, when we see that we're trying to do much for others, but it doesn't matter how much we do or we give, there is nothing coming back in return. We get triggered. We get upset. We get anchored by our spouse, our families, kids, people out there. As we're driving, a car just pulled in. Yes, however, I need to say more and more in one day. you need to remind yourself, Nafis John, yeah, that is the goal, but I try to remind myself, yes. So that's what I'm saying, guys. And yesterday I said, if you're constantly telling yourself as some sort of empty mantras that I am God, I am the whole universe, my true essence is love and light, and your ego is laughing in your face and constantly telling you, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay? That creates this lower vibrational energy that you are fake. You are unauthentic. Keep this in mind. So as a solution, I told you guys, I said instead of using this as a mantra, try to be conscious instead. Every time something happens from outside, tell yourself that I'm going to take 1 to 5 minutes break. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to pull myself back from the situation or whatever is going on. And I'm going to think about this. I am the essence of love and light, or I tell myself, how would love and light react or feel at this situation? How would the universe react at this situation? How would God act at this situation? Right? But be mindful that just throwing something there that, no, I know my true essence is love and light. Be mindful that this doesn't take you away or make you more distant from this statement. This is my message, guys. Okay? Because I have been working with many psychologists or doctors or blah, 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 blah. And they are starting to realize that mindfulness and being fully present and meditation is very important. But I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I haven't checked out any psychiatrist or therapist method. When someone with addiction goes to them, this is what they introduce to the addict. That you are not your addiction. Addiction, it doesn't matter what kind of addiction it is. Addiction, it's something that's being experienced. But you are not an addict. You see, I'm really against this thing. I don't know about AA meeting. People go there after 30 years and they still say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I am an alcoholic, or I am an addict. I don't think that's the right approach. Because as long as I'm connecting some attribute, whether it's addiction or whether it's alcohol abuse or whatever, as long as I'm keep confirming I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic, there's no way to release that. Right? So I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. I know the field of psychology or therapy and coaching stuff, we all coming to this place that mindfulness or meditation or yoga even, or breathing technique or EFT really helps with whatever issue we have or we experiencing. But I don't know how much emphasis it's put in there. I don't know if they would tell you, I am also against labels. Yeah, the mind recognizes them as an addict. Exactly, because you're identifying yourself with that. You know, when I switched into the field of healing, my practice or my teaching has always been since then to trust yourself. Trust the knowing the truth within yourself. Nirvana, don't get distracted, honey. I will talk about EFT, but that's not the question you want to ask right now. Because this question tells me that you're not fully present with me right now. And that's what I want. That you can hear me and then you can repeat me afterwards. Thanks, Lavi. So I think if it's not yet in the field of psychology, they have to start doing that and telling whoever it is, whether they have bipolar or depression or addiction, that they have to tell them that there is a knowing, a healing power within you that reside within you. Check in, tune in, quiet down yourself, and to remind them and encourage them to find that power within, to tell them that you have this capability. We all have this capability. And I have always said, I am not an exception to the rule. Although sometimes all the teaching that I do, I think I am exempt from it, which I'm not, you know? Like sometimes I forget I teach all these things, that we have to connect with Angel Michael and we gotta ask him to come and clean and hold our space and put his blue lighting around us. I talk about this thing, but very often I forget to do it myself. And then boom. And then I start laughing and I said, oh, I thought I was exempt from my teaching. I didn't know that I have to practice what I teach. Yeah, I lose myself sometimes too, right? So when I do my coaching, my one-on-one coaching, my people take a private coaching with me because they have a problem, right? And they're looking for a solution. And I would always say, yes, you have a problem. I have the solution. I can help you out. But when we get into private coaching session, I always tell them, okay, I understand your problem and I understand that you want to get rid of it, but there is another way of looking at this problem. So there's two ways to go about it. Number one, there's a problem. I have to get rid of it, and I have to get rid of it as fast as I can. Which, by the way, everyone goes by this. Everybody wants to resolve their problem right away. And the faster and the quicker, the better it is. That's why you get all these messages like 5 ways to get rid of this. You have a problem, 10 ways to get rid of this problem. Because they know you. They know the psychology of human being, that they want to get rid of something as quick as possible. But the other way to look at this, that there is a deeper message in this. And maybe that deeper message is my higher self that bringing this problem or this issue for me to realize and rethink myself, that there is other possibility or something else deeper is going on. Let's take a look and see what's underneath this problem. Because we want to solve the problem right here. Nobody wants to get dirty. Nobody wants to dig in and get all the way in to see what's the root cause. You know, this just sounds like, you know, your house, there is a major plumbing issue and somebody comes and check it and say, oh, the plumbing issue is coming from the underground. And you say, don't worry about that. Just dry out the water up here. We just want to mask things into such a superficial way. We don't want to really get deeper in. So if we look at it that, oh, let me not look for a solution right away. Let me be more patient with this problem, not wanting or releasing the urge to get rid of or resolve this problem right away. Maybe deeper within, my higher self is creating this problem or bringing up this illness or pain in order for me to get deeper, to tune in to myself more, to bring more attention into the underneath mess that has been created. And maybe our higher self is creating more and more dilemmas and, as we call, problems, because our higher self loves us so much that by creating all these problems, want us to tap in, tune in, getting deeper in to the truth of ourselves, to who I am. Because if I spend the time to work on the ego mind and to tame the ego mind, then I get deeper and deeper into the place that, like I said, by asking this question, who am I, who am I, who am I? And letting go of all the identity, whatever it arises. And then I get into underneath, which is my true self. And in my true self, or when I connect to my higher self, there is no issue. There is no addiction. There is no problem. There is no brokenness. So when something happens, guys, like this, I mean, I work with people who had cancers or many illnesses. And then when I get deeper with them and I say, what is your truth? They say, oh, this cancer or this illness has been a blessing. It has given me the time to let go of so much doing and being everywhere and being everything for everyone, that now this cancer has given me the excuse to pull back from all of my activities and start taking care of myself, to pay more attention to myself. So all of these events, if we can translate it as a gift, they're not problems, they're actually a gift to wake us up. Boom. To wake up from this deep, deep sleep or dream. And some of us, at times, we can wake up, but we are so accustomed of being asleep that we go right back to sleep. You know, I talked about this when I had my near-death experience. I talk about it a lot, and I said, okay, when I had near-death experience and I left my body and I went to a higher realm and they told me blah blah blah, and I got all this thing, oh aha, and I had all these aha moments, right? When I came back, I wasn't awakened. I didn't remember. It took me years. I went right back to sleep, because the ego mind was still very active. So let's look at addiction in a different way. Let's look at addiction as a higher calling, something that's triggering within me to go beyond all this, to realize that I am not the addiction. Addiction is something outside of me being experienced, and I connect myself. Because of my stickiness, I collect all this junk. So at a deeper level, these are all wake-up calls. It depends how much have we done the work. How much time did we spend to work on ego mind? Hello, Parisa. How often do we wake up, and how quickly do we go back to sleep? Yesterday I had a session with someone, and I tell you, not very transparent. And she said to me, she said, when I do my meditation, I go into that state of nothingness for hours. And then I said, then what happens? And then all day, I'm doing everything, I'm rushing, I'm having issues with my husband, I'm having issues, I want to have a child, and I'm not getting pregnant, and all day I'm dealing with all this stuff, looking forward to my next meditation that I'm going to feel nothing. So I asked her, I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? She said, oh, I think it's great. I said, I'm not so sure about that, because that's another form. Awakening is not about creating forms, it's about being formless. In my book, Awakening Not Allowed, I have really talked about this. Spirituality is not about creating more forms or structures. It's about deforming ourselves. It's about getting rid of these structures. It's about being bound, taking away all these boundaries. I don't mean boundaries in a relationship, but the boundaries of countries. I'm from here. I have this religion. I have all the beliefs. It's about becoming formless. It's about, you hear me all the time, I say, I'm not putting myself in any box. I am outside of the box. But for many of us, you might say, but the mind itself is a box. How could you be out of the box if the mind is a box itself? And that's what I mean. It's about quieting down the box or the activity in this box, then you can be out of it. Yes, being flow like a liquid or energy. Exactly. That's being formless. That's being vulnerable to flow. So, right now, I'm hearing a lot of us talking about we're moving up to a higher realm. We are moving to the 4th or 5th. Some people have moved up to even 8 dimensions and 11. I get some emails sometimes, and I hear that these people are coming from the 8 dimensions and they want to take you to the 8 dimensions, and some of them even 11. I don't know how far they can take up the ladders. Maybe they're looking and say, oh, this person is saying that I can take you to the 8th dimension. I'm going to top that off. I'm going to put 10 dimensions. And somebody else look at it and says, 10 dimension, I'm going to top it up. I'm going to put 11. So we keep going up. But I'm not sure where they're going. Because going on higher, evolving, and moving up to a higher consciousness, which is right here, doesn't have the need to go anywhere or to go up. Are you with me, guys? When I say I need to evolve or I am evolving, that scares me, because I am evolving. It's a work, it's a task that I have to do, or is a process that has to take place, and I am in the process. So I am this robot that's moving on, deforming, changing to becoming something else. That's not what evolving is. So why don't we sit back instead and start shedding down. And by shedding, I mean shedding out even our spiritual. You always hear me, I said we are multi-dimensional people, right? We have emotional body, mental body, physical body, right? And when it comes to the spiritual body, it's so much misunderstanding going on there. That's what I mean. I see sometimes on Facebook, people are saying, how can I open up my third eye faster? And I see some people are writing a comment, do this and do that and do this. How can I get help? And can anybody help me evolve quicker? So what I'm saying right now is that let's start shedding the spiritual body. Let's shed out the thinking machine. What do we need to get rid of? What do we need to get rid of in our emotional body? And what do we need to get off physical body? And if we start to shedding out all of these, and we start not attaching ourselves to anything, because attachment, guys, we hear that a lot in Buddhism, right? In Buddhism, you hear attachment is the main cause of suffering. Attachment. If I attach to the material world, I will suffer. Yes, Marla, we have to slow down instead of chasing a higher self, okay? So if you attach to people, because that's what we do. When we come out of the Buddhism teaching into our modern world, attachment equals love. I love you. I will attach myself like an entity to you, and in return I give you love and attention, and I make you food, and I buy you stuff in order for you to attach yourself to me, and you do things in return, and we exchange love, and we exchange material, and we exchange buying shoes for each other, and we exchange buying iPhone. We do this and we call it love. Okay? This is not love, guys. This is the wrong translation of attachment in our modern society. This is against the teaching of Buddhism. Yeah, we're trading, exactly. Okay? So, attachment means let me backtrack. The more we have attachment to things and people, the more pain and suffering. Let me repeat myself again. The more attachment to material world, to people, to lover, to ex-lovers, to ex-husband, ex-wife, to this and that. The more attachment we have, the more pain and suffering we experience. So I remember I did a few ayahuasca. I told you guys about it, right? And when I did my ayahuasca journey, I didn't feel anything. And I was quite aware watching everyone who was purging and throwing up. And it was very distracting to me. What's happening to these people? Why are they purging? And then at some point, I went to the shaman in the middle of the night. I said, look, I want to be very transparent to you. I'm not feeling it. Nothing is happening to me. I'm not having all this experience that these people are having. I'm not even purging. So the shaman laughed and he says, don't worry about everyone else's experience. Stay in your experience, which was my own teaching, right? But in that time of hallucination, instead of me experiencing to become egoless, I was more experiencing my ego more than ever. Purging is throwing up, is another word for throwing up. And then for 3 nights, I didn't throw up like everybody else was doing. I wasn't high. I wasn't doing anything. I was quite aware. My mind was still going. I was seeing everybody. I was seeing everyone else's experience and blah, blah. And then the shaman told me the day after that he was going to come and visit me. And in that morning, I stood out in the yard and I was looking at all the trees. And for the first time, I noticed how many different, although it was like where I was living on the hills, it was all like different kind of trees. But for the first time, I realized that there are so many different colors of green. They're not just one bland green. And I was just looking and thinking at one point that I was feeling the trees. I was one with them. And it wasn't like we were having conversation, right? We weren't having conversations, but somehow we were communicating. It was really weird. And then this is when I did my 3-day journey with a shaman in LA. And then when he came to visit me the next day, I was like, that was a waste of money. I didn't experience, I was joking with him. And he says, well, you come from a different place. You have the background of blah, 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 and shamanism and di-di-di-di-di-di. So anyhow, all of these things, right? But I was aware at that time when my ego was very active, I was aware that how loud the ego can become. That it even at the moment that I was supposed to experience being hallucinated, my ego was very sharp and aware and judging this experience with others' experience, because the ego always wants to gain something. The ego doesn't want to lose something. So everybody was having this amazing experience, supposedly, but I wasn't. So I was losing something. But then when I went to Peru, in the middle of the jungle, I still, I didn't have all this thing. I watched documentary before I went to Peru, and it was like all these people seeing all this darkness, they would shake and they see their past and their and I wasn't experiencing any of that. And then I realized that what I was looking to get from ayahuasca, I was already getting it without any hallucination, drugs, or a shaman or something else. So what I'm saying now is, awakening has so many shades, as I talked about it in my book, Awakening Not Allowed. And it's not like once you're awakened, you're always awakened. But if you look for the repeating of an experience, that's another wrong place to go. Don't expect, if you sit in meditation, or don't even sit in a meditation, which happens very often to me, that you just are very in tune, then you're feeling or you're getting messages or whatever, don't ever feel that you have to look for that experience to repeat itself again. Because the minute you do that, you're separating yourself from experiencing that experience. That's what I mean. So, coming back to addiction, what do you think addiction is, guys? Addictions is structures, is creating forms and sticking these beliefs and habits and events and traumas from childhood, putting all of this in together. That's my translation. Addiction is behavioral. Addiction is craving. Whether it's craving to sugar, craving to caffeine, craving to marijuana, craving to sex, it's a craving. The craving looking for temporary relief, right? Because we don't tame the mind and ego. We don't practice stillness. We are compulsive. I mean, that's one of the most dominant traits of ego mind, being compulsive. Something that needs to happen right now. The minute a feeling comes, a craving comes, we have to jump. We have to, even if it's self-medicating. So because we don't work on those behavioral patterns, we become compulsive. And we get into it for temporary relief, and it's the inability to stop that behavior or not take that action regardless the consequences. So addiction is behavioral, is craving, it's some need, some feeling, some urge. We look for temporary relief, and we can't stop ourselves even though we know the consequences. So that's addiction. I have a feeling that when people want to control something and they can't, addiction happens. That's another form, honey. Addiction has so many forms and shades. If you go to fourth dimension, panic attack will be healed. You don't need to go to fourth dimensions. You don't need to go anywhere else if you could hear what I'm saying right now. If you be able to quiet down the ego mind, quiet down and tame the ego mind, embrace this stillness, overcome your urges, don't jump at any urge for fast relief of feelings, then you are in fourth dimension. So coming back to different traits of ego mind, we know the ego constantly creates needs. I need this. So often I have to correct people. Do you really need this? You don't need this. But the ego puts so much emphasis that I need this, but I really need this. So the amount of energy that we give to that need make that need to become much bigger. And the more need we have, the more needy we become, the more pain and suffering we experience. Are you with me, guys? Did you digest this? The more wanting, the more needs, the more needy we become, the more attachment, the more pain and suffering. Or in a way, if I want to put it in another way, what? Okay. The amount of wanting or needing is related to the amount of emptiness. So, was it a couple of days ago, I sent a voice or post, I wrote down something, I don't remember what it was. I said, although we might think that our biggest drama, problem, issue is addiction, and we connect the addiction to alcohol or to drugs or to wrong relationship or whatever. But I said, I believe the biggest pain and addiction start from the part of us disconnecting from our true self. Again, guys, I talked about this in my book, Awakening Not Allowed. You should read that book. It's a very small book, but it's very information packed. It's not a book that you can just read through. It's a book that you should sit and contemplate in each part. So the more our ego mind is driving us, the more we disconnect from ourselves or our true selves or our higher self, the more emptiness we feel and experience. And that emptiness creates the addiction. But you can't fix the addiction from outside. The addiction, it's something inside. So it doesn't matter what you do outside. You go see a psychiatrist, you go to therapy for years, you get hypnotized, you do blah, 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 blah. The solution, it's not outside. And since nobody is coming to tell you that the source cause of your addiction, It's not about what you're drinking or how much alcohol you're consuming or how much marijuana you're taking. That's the side effect. The deep, deep, deep cause is how far away have I become from myself, from my true self? Right? Or how close am I? I have addictive personality, guys. I can get addicted to anything. To birds, to, sunny weather. But I didn't look at it, one, as an addiction. I realized that my personality is an addictive personality. When that was on my consciousness and awareness, I got deeper into myself and I asked the key question. Who am I? How close or far away am I to my true self? And once I find my true self, all the need, the emptiness, everything disappeared. So for 20 some years, I haven't been in a relationship. Some people ask me sometimes, don't you miss being in a relationship? Don't you miss having sex? Don't you feel lonely? Don't you need this and that? And my response is no. Because when I went to that place of awakening, I felt really liberated. That liberation was from everything, every form, everyone, every need. How to solve it from inside? Mary, I'm giving the solution, but you're not hearing me, honey. It's not about being proud of me, honey. I'm not saying this thing to brag. I'm telling you this thing to the knowing, the knowledge, to understand that this is accessible for all of us. This is free coming. Oops, I forgot I have my mic here. Okay, this has been given through this machine. The inner world, our higher self, this comes in a package. But you're not going to find this package, everything with everything that comes, if you're constantly looking outside for a solution. You don't need to hope to be like me. That's what I'm trying to say. I am a part of you. How do I live alone? God, dear Jesus. How do I live alone? I just said that, honey. When I had that moment of awakening, I realized who my true self was and is. And that part of me, my true self, my higher self, is separated from all this thing. I don't feel lonely. I don't feel alone. Sometimes I can feel it, we are part of each other. Okay? Who is the one? What part of you is making this statement right now? That sometimes I feel that we are all one and we're not separated from each other. What part is saying that? The ego mind or the heart and soul? Right? So the part that's announcing this needs to be reminded of this all the time. We call this mindfulness. You should trust your true self, your soul. Yes, always. That's what we call intuition. So the amount of wanting is related to the amount of emptiness, and the amount of emptiness is related to our childhood upbringing. So, as a child, we are very narcissist. We are a narcissist as a child. Why? Because as a child, from age 2, when I start finding myself, I find the I. I talked about this at the beginning of this webinar. Once that I, ego, mind, recognizes itself, it will separate itself from everything else. And then why do I say as a child we are narcissists? Because the lens is just on us. Whatever is happening, weren't you guys supposed to write comments, guys? Yes. So, the I, as a child, doesn't translate what's going on between the parents or the caregiver. The child makes this about me. So that the mind of a child works as, my parents are fighting or arguing because of me being here. They are this way or that way because of me being here. And that's a really bad way of translating things that's happening around us. Okay? So, if a child has this personality as a narcissist, that's everything that's happening around me is happening because of me, then what do you think is the next step? Shame and blame. Then we start blaming ourselves for everything that's happening. So if our parents argue, it's because of me being here, they're arguing. If one of the parents, if they get divorced, oh, it's because of me. I wasn't a good boy or girl. That's why this happened, and that's why they got divorced, and that's why one of them leave, and that's why one of them is working, and that's why one of them died. So, this is the issue. If you're a parent, I would recommend to bring this teaching to your children. Nothing that's happening here has anything to do with you. And whatever is going on between mom and dad or the caregiver has absolutely nothing to do with you. And nothing that we're doing is going to reflect on you or make you a good boy or a bad boy, or a good girl or a bad girl. You have to take this responsibility as a parent to constantly reminding your children, taking them off that narcissistic behavior, that things are not happening because of you. And don't teach your children that you become good or bad if you behave well. So coming back to our addiction, the greater the pain, the greater the addiction. Or I can say, the greater distance between me and myself, my true self, my higher self, the greater of the chance of addiction. Correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't relate it to responsibility, so how to become responsible. Yeah, that's a part of it. That's a good point. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I have talked about, I keep repeating myself. You guys probably think I want to sell my book, Awakening Not Allowed. I talked in Awakening Not Allowed about responsibility. I said one of the major issues that we have is none of us want to grow up. We don't want to grow up because if we grow up, we have to take responsibility. And nobody wants to take responsibility. But because taking responsibility is one of the classes that I took, is the mandatory class that we all have to take on planet Earth. Therefore, if we're not willing to take responsibility to grow up, then we have to pay the consequences. Are we taking responsibility? Who is taking responsibility? I keep telling you this, guys. I keep telling you this. Why not? Well, look around you, honey, and see who is really totally taking responsibility. Look around you. Are you yourself taking responsibilities for daily actions that you take? Think about it. You wake up in the morning and you go through your day. Take just one day and see how reactive you have been during this day. Look and see how much have you watched your mind. How often did you separate yourself from the thinking machine? How fast and how quick were you reactive? Okay? These are all taking responsibilities. I can't just get out of control and start yelling and screaming and then tell you a couple of hours, say, I'm sorry, I couldn't hold myself, I couldn't handle. That's not taking responsibilities. Although I have to say, if someone gets upset, they start yelling, they start getting angry, you shouldn't judge them. You should understand that, oh my God, this human being is going through so much pain and suffering that they cannot express themselves any other way by raising their voice or yelling or breaking stuff or even beating you up. Again, the more you have pain and you suffer, the more disabled you are to impress yourself, the more you shut down your throat chakra. Because what you're saying, it doesn't come across correctly. That's from years of suffering, abuse, and traumas and all that hasn't been healed or hasn't been worked on. So you're still remaining that little child who can't control their emotions or their actions. You start yelling and you start raising your voice. Do you see what happens when couples are fighting or arguing, or anybody? When two people are arguing, one start yelling and they raise their voice and the other one is tapping it up. And then this one says, getting behind, oh, you're yelling that much, I'm going to tap you up. And the arguments get louder and louder and louder, but neither party is capable of hearing one another. That's not taking responsibilities. Okay? So, yes, we have to take responsibility. We have to take responsibility to realize that don't just throw those beautiful words out there. My true essence is love and light. I am one with everyone else. These are just pretty words. You have to live them daily, day after day after day. When you say, sometimes I remember that I am one with everything, but the majority of time it just slips and I don't remember it, that's not taking responsibility. So that's what I mean by taking responsibility, okay? And going back, when I say, when someone is losing their temper and they're yelling and they're doing crazy stuff and they're breaking the dishes and they even beat you up, I am not saying that's an excuse for those people to do that. That's not what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is, for you, someone who is witnessing this action, don't get involved in that fight or argument. Instead, take a step back and come from that place of love and understanding that you are just love and light, and say, wow, I wonder, who am I right now? What energy am I emanating that this person in my energy field is becoming that. You really need to sit in this deeply to understand what I'm saying. Instead of judging that person, pull back and say, who am I right now? I don't see people around me yell and raise their voices and la 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 la. Because I have taken responsibility to be my very best, to work on myself, not to be on social media, not to engage with activities. I have taken that responsibility. Now I'm at the point that my surrounding is showing what else do I need to work on. This is showing me my evolution as a soul. How much have I grown? Because taking me 10 years ago, I used to get into fight and argument with everybody. I would constantly create dramas and I wasn't aware of it. And probably if 10 years ago, somebody like me right now today will tell me, you are creating that, it wouldn't click. Like I'm hearing right now. What do you mean I'm creating this? But I can tell myself, congratulations, you came so far from someone who was constantly getting into arguments and fights with other people. I could literally, guys, could get into a relationship and tell everyone, I'm here for you not to like me. So I'm going to do everything. From my body language, from the way I'm looking at you, I'm going to look down at you, from what I'm saying, from my facial expression. I'm going to make sure that you're going to hate me in the first few seconds. So now, I look at that and I'm looking this person who is preaching right now and I'm seeing, wow, my reality has really changed. Everybody is love around me. I don't have the urge to hurt people any longer. I don't have to abuse people. I had this anger towards men for years. And it wasn't because anybody hurt me. But that has been through my generation, past generation, that generation. It came to me one day, I asked myself, I said, why am I so mean to the masculine energy? Why am I trying to hit them or squash them and destroy them? Why am I doing that? Nobody has done anything wrong to me. But then I realized it wasn't me. It wasn't my program. That has been from my mother and my grandmother and past generations. So many generations has been abused as women. I was carrying that anger and I wanted to make it up for all of those ancestors. But then I moved to the next step. That's not right. I could come from a higher place and liking and loving men just as much as women. Because today, there's no difference between a masculine and feminine for me. I'm standing in a neutral place. Are you with me, guys? Yes. So, when you study psychology, they often say that addiction is in the genes. We ask, was your mother addicted? Was your father addicted? Your uncle, your la 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 la. But today, what's his name? That doctor, scientist, Lipton. Tell me what's his name. That he proved that genes are not important at all. Because he find out that our gene can change through our environments, right? So if my mother and my father and my grandparents, they all had addictions to alcohol, that has no effect on me. But if my environment, as my upbringing, growing up, I see parents who have addictions to drugs or to alcohols, that environment sends message to me as a child that there is addiction here. Bruce Lipton. Yes, Nirvana. Bruce Lipton. Yes. Okay. So he said, it's our environment that affects our genes. And our genes, like we thought before, is not something set on stone. If the environment affects our genes, that means our genes are constantly changing. Sahar, stay here. Be present and stay here. There's a lot of material to digest, and by you multitasking, it's not going to happen. Okay? So our gene can change because our environment can change all the time. That's why when you have addictions, they say change your place. Because when your environment, your whole body has memories, your genes, even the bacteria in your guts, they have memories, right? So if I'm addicted to drugs, and everything in my house, the yard that I smoke my marijuana, or the room that I smoke my marijuana, or this wall, or this or that, gives me a reminder of that, my chances of smoking marijuana is much more than if you take me and put me somewhere in the mountain or nature that I don't have any recollections to that environment that reminds me of using the drugs. And then they say change your friends, your environment, who is addicted in your environment, stop talking to them, cut out communication with them, and replace your surrounding with people who are very active, very health conscious, and they're doing a lot of exercise. Replace your friends with those healthy, conscious mind people. Because once our environment changes, the gene changed with it also. Okay? Thank you, honey. Okay, I'm gonna end this live now, guys. But we're gonna get deeper into addiction. And I would like you all to please share this live. And if you haven't subscribed on my YouTube channel, Sudi Burnett English, please do so. Subscribe, like. And I'm not getting comments from you guys. What's the matter with you people? Why aren't you writing comments? That's an addiction to resistance of not writing comments. What is your problem, people? Why aren't you? I don't want. You cannot use any more emoji, guys, from now on. That's the new rules. No love, no nothing. If you come here, Arzu Jan, listen to what I'm saying. I want you guys to practice writing comments. This was helpful. It wasn't helpful. I'm going to share it. Talk to me everywhere, honey. When you're here, you're doing it, Nirvana. You constantly with me. Yeah. See, Nirvana, yes, nobody writes. Where? YouTube or Instagram? Everywhere, Mariam. Comments, comments, comments. Nadia, by sending flowers right now, you showed me that you're not present. Same here. Bayani. Same here. Sudi Burnett. Don't send me heart. Write down a comment. This live is really good. Thank you. There we go. Treasure. Yes. Yes. Sherlock. There we go. Yes. I am listening because you spoke to my experience on many levels. Yes, I agree. This is comment, guys. Why can't you write the comments? I'm gonna have Sahar to make a post from now on. You guys cannot send any emojis, no love, no heart, no nothing. Comments. This session was very helpful. Thank you and God bless you. Addction, you weren't present. Don't give me hands up. Don't send me emojis. Ferry, weren't you here? No emojis. You have to write down a comment. There you go. I like your program. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Lahij, you weren't present. No hands up, no emojis, no heart, no nothing. Write down a comment. How hard is it, guys? And then we want to get to a higher realm. We're not even present. When are you going to see me again? Parisajan, follow up, please. Don't send me hands up. Lalich, no love, no heart. Write down a comment. I feel so good because you're working on me. Thank you, love. Thank you for your life. My soul loves your voice and gets sleep as soon as I hear your voice. Thank you, Arzujan. It called going to a hypnotic state. Zarin, thank you. This was very helpful. Lahij, master, I love you. There we go. Yes, thank you. It's really good for me. Great. Why am I asking you to do this, guys? Because I also asked you to write a comment last live, the live before, the live before, the live before. When you are not following up and writing down a comments, it tells me that you're not fully present here. You're not hearing what's being said. That's one way of looking at it. The other way is if you constantly hearing to write down a comment and you don't do it, what's stopping you? There is a resistance, and you have to overcome that resistance, which is not writing down a comment. Are you with me? So from now on, we're going to see who is fully present here. Anybody who's going to send a heart, empty heart or hands up, that means you're not fully present. Can we make that a deal that everybody is going to write a comment? And whoever is not, great, and you are so great. Thank you, honey. Yes, okay? So from now on, whoever is not writing down a comment is going to get a comment about that comment, that why aren't you writing comment? Yes. When you share your experiences, help me a lot. Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being present. Yes. Now you're showing me that you're fully present here. You're with me. I'm not just talking to myself. You talked today on a different site. Zorijan? Okay. Indeed. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, follow my English. Yes, write a comment there, share, and like. I'm gonna get, let's see, when are we doing our next live? I believe, let's see, Wednesday and Thursday, I think we're having Farsi live, and then we're probably gonna catch up and continue. Kunu chant, you weren't listening. Kiana, no more emojis. You have to write a comment. Okay, yes, Sarinjan. All right. Maybe Friday or Saturday, we're going to continue on this live. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. See you soon.